Hello, my friends. I'm Lisa Burns, and I am a teacher success coach. And I thought, with everything that's going on with coronavirus, I thought I'd jump in and show you an easy way to stay in touch with your students. Because honestly, schools are being canceled or being delayed for extended spring vacations, all kinds of things. But we want to still have our students learn. So if you're in that boat, then here's an easy and free way for you to stay in touch with your students and still teach online. So here we go. You would log in and go to your computer and go to Zoom. You would need to sign up. It is free to sign up. There are lots of plans, but there is a free plan, and that's why I like Zoom. Now I'm already signed up, so I would sign in. And once I'm signed in, I'll show you my dashboard. So here's my dashboard. When I sign in, it looks like this, and I can go in at any point in time. I have a personal meeting room that I can use at any time I want. There's meeting templates, there's previous meetings, but then I can do upcoming meetings. So I have upcoming meetings, but I can also schedule a new meeting. So in order to schedule a meeting, I just click there, and you can always find it over here on your left side of your dashboard as well. So maybe I'm going to teach reading, and maybe I'm going to teach reading for kindergarten. And you could type in a description if you want, whatever you want it to say, and then you go down here to the calendar, and in the calendar what you want to do is you want to choose when you want that to be scheduled. So say I want to start on Monday. I would start on Monday, and I want to choose my time. So say I want to start at 11 for my class, and then you'll notice that you have this little box down here that says your Zoom plan has a 40-minute limit on meetings. Well, I have the free plan. I don't pay for Zoom at this point in time. I use a free plan. And so if I'm using the free plan, you only can use 40 minutes. There isn't a 40-minute option. So what you need to do is you go in here and you can schedule 30 minutes, 15 minutes. You can schedule 45, but your meeting, and I remember I have to turn this to 0, your meeting will literally end at 40 minutes, whether you schedule that or not. You'll be done or not. So know that it's 40 minutes, not 45. So usually I don't teach online, especially to students, for longer for 30 minutes, simply because I teach elementary school. And so that tends to be about the right time limit. Longer than that tends to get a little bit long. It depends on what you're doing, and you'll have to gauge that. Now, don't forget to choose your time zone. If you don't choose your time zone, you could miss your own meeting because you won't know what time it really is. So remember, you want to get in there and get your time zone. Now, do you want this to be a recurring meeting? Are you going to meet every week at this time with your students so that you're going to start on Monday, give them the lesson, they get their assignments, and they can work for the week? And you could schedule a second meeting maybe later in the week on a Wednesday or a Thursday as your check-in for the opportunity to check in with them. Or you could schedule it as office hours, and so that students could log in and ask you questions. So that would be another option later in the week, so that those who need help can log in and get help, and those that don't can keep on working. So there you go. I like to do a recurring meeting because you're teaching school, and so it just happens, and I don't have to continue to remember to schedule each week. It's just done and everybody knows. Then you can go down here and it tells you when you want to end by, and I want to end right about here. I want to end towards the end of the month. I don't really want to go too much longer, so maybe I want to go to through the end of April. Say we're out for 60 days, so I might go through the 27th of April. Okay, so after 7 occurrences, it's going to happen not daily, but it's going to happen weekly. So once a week, it's going to repeat on Mondays, and I'm going to teach that class on Mondays. You can require a meeting password. It is entirely up to you. Because we're dealing with students, I do think it's a good idea, but it's entirely up to you. it is one more step for families to remember to go ahead and put that password in and to hang on to that. So I like to keep it with students because they're elementary students and that this is something that they need to have. Make sure you just copy and you can put it into your notes, or you can write it down real quick if you want. Excuse me. And then you want to have video for both you and your participants, and you want to turn it to just computer audio. You don't want anyone calling in, and there's two reasons for that. One reason is your students need to see what you're teaching, so that's the first reason. But the second reason is right now, most of these online platforms are experiencing high volume, especially for calls, and so that's going to be harder for them to call in. There are going to be delays, and they may suspend that for free plans as well. So just don't even bother. Do the computer audio. That's just the way to go. And then you can enable joining before the host. So if you're running a minute or two late, they can get into the room and they don't have to wait for you. You can enable a waiting room if you want. It's up to you. If you feel like your students won't behave themselves before you get into the room, you can mute the participants when they come in, and you would have to unmute them later when you get into the room. So if you don't want them talking and being inappropriate before you get into the room, that's fine. If you're planning on getting into that room before your students get there, then that may not be an issue. Okay, completely up to you. I like to say, record the meeting automatically on the local computer. That means your computer. So if you don't have the capacity, then you probably don't want to do that. But I like to record it, then you can upload it actually to YouTube, but you can do it so that it's protected. So and they have to have the actual link in order to access that. Then students who couldn't come can watch it, or students can go back and watch that lesson again. So it's up, then you can delete it off your computer if you don't want it on your computer, but it still lives on so your students can access that whenever they want. So I think that's a cool feature. Click Save, and that piece is done. Super easy. You can click on whichever calendar you have and we'll pop it into your calendar so you won't be forgetting, and then just check through all of the pieces here. Go back and look, make sure everything that you needed was in here, and you can edit the meeting here, you can delete the meeting, all of these little pieces are down there for you, so if you want. So now over here is the join URL. Now that's an important thing. You want to copy that invitation, and it says copy meeting invitation, and you're just going to copy that. And then you can, it's saved to my clipboard, and I would just pop it into my notes or my calendar, but it's there. So now it's there and I have it, and I can go ahead and I can go back and access this at any time. When you log into your account, you can get that link at any point in time, so don't feel like it won't be there when you need it. It is. But copy it, and then you can email that to your families. So now it's all there. So say I want to start a meeting. All right, so I'm just going to go back into meetings, and I can go into my personal meeting room. So I'm going to do that just to show you how the meetings get run. And you can do this at any point in time, and I'm going to start the meeting. So once I do that, it says open Zoom, yes, and it's launching. And you do have to download the Zoom app to your computer, and families will have to do that as well in order to access this. That is one of the drawbacks of Zoom, but it is what it is. So I have my speaker and microphone. Yes. Okay. All right, so that's there, excuse me. And here we are. So now let's talk about all the tools. So if you move your cursor around, what will happen is all this stuff down on the bottom will appear for you. So if you don't move your cursor around, it just disappears automatically. And that's okay, it's not a problem. It's just if you want to see it, I move my cursor and it just reappears. So it's there. It says join audio over here. It says join audio, yes, I've got my audio going. And then you've got your video going as well. And you can see you can invite people. oops, excuse me, all right here, you can see it shows me which microphone I'm using. And if I go right here, it shows me the camera that I'm using, so I can choose my camera as well. You can invite people if you want. You can send an invitation to them. You can manage the participants. It just shows you who's here. It's just me right now, obviously, and so I can click back on it and it gets rid of that. And I can share. So if I want to share something, I can share my desktop, I can share a whiteboard, I can share from my iPhone, I can share from Google Chrome as well. So if I want the whiteboard, and I just click the whiteboard and I say share, it will share a whiteboard. And so then I can sit here and I can draw on the whiteboard, whatever I want to do. I can type. There's an eraser. It has all the standard whiteboard tools here. So if I want to stop sharing that, I just click this stop sharing at the very top up there, and it stops sharing that piece. I can share my desktop, and if I bring up a PowerPoint lesson, then I can share my desktop and it will share whatever I have on my desktop as well. So that's another thing that you can do. And so I would use that and share a PowerPoint, to prepare a PowerPoint for your lesson, and you can simply use that as well. And you can go back and forth between that and the whiteboard, and even just you on video talking. So lots of ways to do that. Then you can have one participant share at a time. You can have multiple participants share at a time. If you want multiple participants to share at a time, then you'll need to go ahead and click that piece. And there's other sharing options. So you can go in here and say multiple participants can share simultaneously. You can have only the host can share. You can have only the host can share when someone else is sharing. So lots and lots of options there for you too. In addition, there is a chat feature. So you can have a chat right over here, and students can type in questions and those kinds of things over here as well. And you can mute and unmute participants and yourself. And so you can go back and forth and have turns, and also with the video. So if you want to see your students, you can have their video showing as well. And so if I want the chat to go away, I can put the chat away. Now remember, you want to make sure that your video is recording. Now I chose automatically record, so it would record automatically, but this is just a meeting room, and so I have to say record. So it would look red, excuse me. So if I click record, then I can simply, and I can stop recording here. And then you can record at any point in time during that meeting. So there you go. That's all the tools, everything you've got available to you. It's so easy. If you have things from like your Google Drive, like documents or lessons or practice sheets that you want to share from a Google Drive, you can actually put those links to those in the chat if you want. That's something that you can do. Oops, excuse me. Group chat. Nope. Anyway, so whatever you want to do with that. I'm going to end the meeting for all here. So click on that right corner there. I'm ending the meeting for everyone. So that's it. If you want a cheat sheet with all the steps for you and a letter for parents on how to log in and get started so that they can come into your classroom and virtually and still learn while things are a little bit crazy, I have a cheat sheet for you for both of those things. You just go to hopeineducation.com/vault and you'll get access to that and to lots of other freebies as well. Anyway, have a great day, and I hope you stay healthy and safe, and your students as well. Bye-bye.